There we go. Yeah, the lighting's a bit weird. If I do that, my face is okay. If I do that, I kind of half got into darkness. And then I've got this blue bit down here from a blank Word document I'm using as a lighting source. But I just don't like the overhead light in this room, that's all. It's not nice.
It hums.
It hums. It does hum. I don't mean it smells. I mean it literally goes...
It actually hums.
It's because it's about 40 years old. We had these lights in my uncle's house when I was a child, when I was like 7. I'm 50 this year, so that gives you an idea. So, yeah, we've just watched...
He didn't bring the lights with him in case that's the inference.
No, not at all. No. Those lights, presumably... this is going to get boring quickly if I just talk about the history of lights in my family. But I am now going into my head, when did I last know that house? But anyway, it's not important. It's really not important. Yes, I still have my cold. I'm sure you can hear that. Interestingly, we've only got 30 minutes of footage today. Have you noticed that? There's a little time at the bottom. We're 1 minute into 30 minutes and 3 seconds maximum. I think I might have turned the settings up. I can't. Anyway, whatever. Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Not when your phone memory runs out, then.
I'm assuming it just means the card's full or something. I don't know. So we've just watched episode 5. I had a couple of moments of dozing off again. This keeps happening. I've hit a phase where just sitting down makes you want to sleep, basically. I think it's partly the cold. I think it's partly I'm just knackered all the time. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this week. It was
What was it called? Oh,
Truth.
Was it
Truth.
Truth?
Yeah, Truth.
Glad you remember.
Truth. So we can call it T for short. It's the tea. This week, all the tea. And I thought it was good. It was interesting because I am finding this more of a character drama. I don't think it's full on action.
No.
I think as some people said, I've seen people complain that it's a bit dull, a bit boring. I think it's very slow paced intentionally, but I like that with this because I like the fact that it's giving us time to get to know nuances about the story. So we're not just a character faced with moral dilemma. Character goes for a 90-second montage of whatever. Character resolves all their flaws and makes heroic decision. I think the fact that we still get a lot of light and shade, and quite literally in the way they're playing sort of some of the racial tension and the racial connotation that goes with like Cap Shield and stuff in particular. I thought that was really interesting and very well handled. But so there's quite literally black and white to this, which I thought was interesting because it made me sort of think quite a lot about how they've put, real world sort of racism and politics into what is normally
quite a sanitized universe.
Yeah. So all of the stuff with Isaiah talking about what was his line? No self-respecting black man would have
that
shield. And that made me sort of go, oh, God, okay. Yeah, I see that. Because I think the expectation was very much that Sam would take the shield, but now will it be Bucky takes a shield, even though it was with Sam still at the end, wasn't it?
I think the point of that is it's one of the things, and it kind of building on what you were saying, because I think that's one of the things I absolutely love about this whole show. Kind of in much the same way that WandaVision was actually a really good study about the grieving process, if you kind of strip away all of the other stuff. This is, I think, very much... certainly one of the key strands in it is kind of the race aspect. And obviously you've got someone like Steve Rogers, who comes from a very particular period of time, but is also a very particular kind of person that, in all fairness, would have been largely oblivious to a lot of the sort of more sort of blatant racial tensions that have developed in the States, and is just generally an all-round decent bloke that obviously thinks the best of everybody. So for him, kind of, I went off camera then. How very unprofessional for me. So for him, just like handing the shield to Sam is just it's a nothing gesture for him, other than showing that I place
I believe in
my
you.
trust. Yeah, that's what it is. He's not aware of this larger sort of racial framework, and I think that's what this show is doing so well, is basically kind of playing out that sort of that racial framework and kind of understanding for us a lot of the reasons why Sam initially might have been reluctant to take the shield, which was nothing to do with race and more to do with living up to the legacy of Steve Rogers. And then obviously seeing what happened with John Walker, and then obviously meeting Isaiah and actually kind of questioning essentially exactly what it means to be a black superhero in a white society, and a white society that has historically been very opposed to non-white sort of races.
Well,
kind of playing on that dynamic.
If you look at Phase 1 of Marvel, you've only got Rhodey as non-white.
And
the Hulk's green.
Basically.
The Hulk's green. Okay, get that. But he turns into a white man, a rich white man, or a doctor, or whatever. So, yeah, there is kind of a almost looking back at themselves, I guess, element. But I've only just thought about it. If you were talking then, this is the irony that Steve Rogers fought Nazis when he is the perfect Aryan, blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy. But again, that's Steve wouldn't see that. But yeah, I just think they're touching on some very topical and very delicate issues and handling them extremely well.
Yes. And I think as well, I think particularly in terms of like what you were saying about the shield, I think for Sam, it's very, and again, this kind of ties in with the fact that this is very much a character piece. Yes, it has action. Yes, it has world building, but it's ultimately it's about us learning the character of Sam, and to be fair, learning the character of Bucky. I mean, there was a lovely moment, probably about just over halfway through, I think, where sort of Sam and Bucky have had the obligatory bonding moment, but I think it's kind of like sort of Bucky, I think, getting an appreciation for what it actually means to be a black man in America now. Because again, Bucky is also someone who's kind of out of time.
Yeah.
And obviously has his own shit to deal with that's been very, not race-based, but just like, I was a brainwashed psycho killer.
Sounds like a film.
It probably is a film. But, for him, it was a very clear-cut decision of Steve friend, Steve gave you S.H.I.E.L.D., you turned down S.H.I.E.L.D., you bad. And I think his appreciation of what a complex issue it is for Sam, especially having met Isaiah and as to what he went through as a character, and I think that's the thing with Sam, is that he's struggling with this. Do I support a country that that has treated sort of African Americans the way that it has done with Isaiah, the way it still continues to do in this hypothetical, the way that obviously moving away from the MCU, the way that we know sort of Black Americans are, and Hispanic Americans, anyone who is a non-white American gets treated. So it's kind of balancing that out, and I thought that speech that Sarah gave, which ultimately, it's essentially you have to do what you feel is right for you, and it's about you don't necessarily have to go with what the white man is telling you in terms of the government expectations, Steve, etc. But equally, don't let someone like Isaiah, who's obviously experienced the worst of that system, shape it. You make your own decisions and kind of go from there. So I get the impression that Sam is kind of doing that.
It's all very Mama Cass, isn't it? Make your own kind of music. No? Maybe not. So that was good and very well done, and kind of the heart of this episode in lots of ways. Then you had Val. I love Val. What did she have? 3 minutes of screen time?
If that.
She's I kind of, the name rang the vaguest of bells in the back of my mind, and I've since looked her up and realised she's got a much deeper lore in Marvel. But the reason the name struck a chord with me is she does have, as they all fucking do, to be fair, like everyone has an appearance in the Civil War books. So she does rock up in that, which is where I would have encountered her before.
I just say, I'd like to keep it on, please.
Wrong Valentina.
Or is it?
Well,
especially in those heels.
Well, yeah. It was. I just saw her and I was like, oh, it's like Marvel Karen Walker. I went to go, hey,
my
Jackie.
God, that is the best description of any character I think I've ever heard. That's literally all you need to know. She is Marvel Karen Walker.
That's what came across in her 3 minutes.
Yes.
So I'm sure that there's lots more of her to come. If not in next week, then certainly that they've seeded her. They've seeded her into it for a very good reason. I'm sure. And they've cast a bit of a name. Because as you pointed out, she's from like Seinfeld or whatever. So,
although I had to look it up because I never watched Seinfeld, to be fair.
No, I don't think I've ever seen it. But I knew her name. I've probably seen her in other stuff. So that was cool. I like her a lot. And then of course we have the whole plot with John.
Yes. Ooh.
Wow.
What?
Ooh, Johnny's gonna go nuts. John's gone nuts. If you don't know that reference,
then kill yourself.
Yeah, just go. Just when you finish with us, just search for sorority high school girls from hell. No, sorority girls from hell.
Something like that.
Sorority girls from hell. I should know this. I watch it all the time. I'm the
I'm
one that knows the entire fucking words to the sketch.
Yeah.
And it's very funny. Lois Bromfield. It's very funny. Because that's how you walk when you're going to kill someone. But anyway, I'll end up doing the whole thing. So, because the rain's scared of her too. This all makes sense when you go and watch it. Trust me, if you don't know it already. So he. I mean, where's he going? Well, I mean, he was making. If you didn't watch,
to get to Looney Town.
If you didn't stick through the mid credits, you've missed a scene. So I'll give you that warning now. Because I'm about to talk about it. Making his own shield and putting his own little medal on it, which reminded me of something else, and I couldn't place it.
Is it the eagle from the?
No, the whole notion of putting like a little gold badge into something. The police helicopter's right over our house. I don't know if you can hear it. It's like right there.
I may or may not be back shortly.
They found me.
Shit.
It's moving away. No, I can't. Oh God. No, it'll come to me. I don't think it's relevant to this necessarily. It's just there was just the imagery of someone taking a little gold something they've got and fixing it with something else. Bugger, it's gone. But I'm fairly certain it's a nod to something or other. There we go. Don't let the computer go off or you'll lose your lights. Oh, I can get my reflector out. Why don't I get my reflector out?
I don't know. Where is your reflector?
It's over there. Right. So you talk about John Walker and your thoughts on him. I'm going to get my reflector out.
Right. What? He always does this. Like, literally, he starts on some big spiel, which I can then respond to. And before he actually goes into the flow, basically goes, oh, I need to go and do something else. You're in my light now.
I'm trying to find my reflector. What am I done with it?
I
found it.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it mean you're now out of my light? No, you're still in my light. Look, you've completely covered my light now. I think you've moved the chair.
I've moved the chair.
There we go.
I'm going to fix everything with the reflector. So, yeah, John Walker.
Just watch your glass.
Yeah. If we put that there, does that make a difference?
No.
Well, that's crap, isn't it?
Oh, it makes a difference.
Makes a difference if you lean forward. It's fine. Find your light, Louise.
Yeah, because we actually need to have a light source on it. I think.
Anyway, I've got. Oh, how's that?
It's the angel Gabriel who come down from on high to tell us
I need
about
to get
the
this into
baby
panto.
Jesus.
So we completely stopped talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We're just playing with the reflector now.
He says we.
I
Now fold it back up again for the benefit of the audience. This is always entertaining.
What do you mean like that?
Then I zip it up.
Yeah, I can do it. I can. Bag. Reflector. In bag. Zip the wrong way.
Ta-da!
Next week we'll set up with the reflector with actually having a light source. So
John Walker.
John Walker's ooh, ooh, ah, John is gonna go nuts. And yeah, he's clearly gonna take on America as a whole.
Which, you know, a white guy going nuts in America, that's unheard of.
Do you think he'll go to a school? What? There is precedent for this. About 4 times a year. America, sort your fucking gun laws out, will ya?
I'm pretty sure the 4 times a year is only the ones that make the news. I'm pretty sure it's higher than that.
I mean, shootings where someone just bleeds a little bit. Yeah, absolutely, probably weekly. But I lost the plot. Yeah, so we enjoyed it this week. We thought it was great.
John Walker going nuts and taking on America.
John is gonna go nuts. Weave. There we go. Now I've got to deal with cats. So obviously 1 episode left now. Where do we think it's going? Interestingly, my friend Christian, who is one of my biggest Marvel nut friends, well, just comics generally, not just Marvel, seems to think this is going to sort of tail into Thunderbolts, which is Marvel's equivalent of Suicide Squad. So it's villains for hire.
Yeah. Villains for the greater good.
So that could be interesting,
especially because Nemo is one of the main characters.
Nemo,
not Nemo.
He's a fish.
Yes, you know who I mean.
Zemo.
Thank you. Or not Zima, which apparently is a drink.
Oh, okay. Right.
But Zemo is a main character in the Thunderbolts.
Right.
Initiative.
Okay.
Again, don't know this. I read it in courtesy of a Google search, so I'm sure Christian is very aware of all of this sort of stuff.
No, he'll know it inside out and exactly where it's all going to lead and who's going to do what. He just knows this shit. And Matt will probably know a fair bit, and I expect Paul will as well, to be fair. Hi Matt, hi Paul.
Hi Helen.
We've got to see Helen soon. That's gonna be exciting. I might have to just get a video of Helen to go in a video. Just get her to say something.
Mastication. It's always a good one to say because people always. I'm never entirely sure if it's vaguely rude or not.
Can we not go with quagmire? Quagmire has a much better word.
That moist.
Fuck you.
For the benefit of the audience,
I don't like the end. It just feels wrong in my mouth, which just sounds even dirtier now I've said that. It's making it worse. It's the same action as throwing up for me. That's why.
Well, it will be if you start doing that.
Yeah. Anyway, have we got anything else to say? Probably haven't we? We completely lost it, haven't we?
Yeah.
Should we just end it there?
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Moist.
Cunt!